The iPhone 14 has just been released, but is it all that it's cracked up to be? Let's find out in this reaction. Woo!
Since the dawn of time, or no matter how long humanity has existed, there will always be two sides and two warring factions to every single debate.
Twitter in one sentence.
Are you a Coke person or a Pepsi person?
Controversial opinion. If you drink Pepsi, you should be shot by firing squad. You're drinking the clearly inferior drink. You probably have no friends. I don't understand the point of what you're advocating. It is a very controversial opinion. I do understand. I'm very sorry, but I don't understand you. Please say your last rites after the tone.
Other flavor tastes like car battery acid. Are you team Xbox or team PlayStation?
It's a good question. I'll go for Xbox. Also, no, Nintendo Wii, because what is it? You got Mario Kart on that one. I don't know why I did that gesture for Mario Kart. It's Mario Kart. But you know what I mean. But Mario Kart is a fun game. So actually, technically, Pyrocynical, it's actually neither.
The fact that both of them have practically 0 games.
I wouldn't know.
Xbox has Halo that fell off quicker than any kind of respect for the British monarchy. And PlayStation has a 2009 remake and a 2002 remake as their only exclusive games.
But neither have Mario, and that's the thing I'm trying to tell you guys. Mario supremacy is very firm in these establishments. Don't be atting me with no Xbox or PlayStation or no. Mario Kart is the way to go.
The joke I'm making is that the PC is obviously the prime choice and better in every single way. First of all, it's incredibly affordable. You want a good running PC that can run any game? It's only about $10,000 and you've got to swap the parts out every year. And the best thing is about the
Sorry, I just fucking died. Jeez. I'm dying of ligma.
PC, we get any console game 5 years later. But today I'm talking about a different war. One that you might be more accustomed to. The war of phones. And which one truly is better?
Android. And let me explain why. If you're Android, then you're not like the other kids. And if you're not like the other kids, then we can find you easier so we can beat you up. Because if you have an iPhone, then yeah, you may be a wanker, but you're not distinguishably a wanker. But if you have an Android, it's much easier to single out the weak in the herd. Again, call my opinions controversial, but that's just my opinion.
Android users, for example, will shill how amazing their camera quality is while proceeding to mark on their phone what specific minute and hour they need to take the photo, because if they don't, it will just look like a bunch of pixels, and then the picture will come out blurry anyway.
Pretty
iPhone
much.
users, on the other hand, will explain to you how it was totally justified that they parted their way with $1,000 because the next phone up had a 0.1 better megapixel camera, and it could charge a whole 4 extra minutes before the battery exploded.
I don't know if this makes me an idiot. Here is my screen. Here's my phone. I think it's an iPhone. What is it? iPhone X, complete with crumbs in the phone case. It does the job. It does the job. It's got my lovely face on it, as you can tell, because I love. I don't know if that makes me narcissistic, but I do love my face. It's a very lovely face in my opinion. Yeah, Android. I'm very sorry, but this is the clearly superior phone.
But today's video is focusing on the latest iPhone, the iPhone 14 Pro, and how it's probably the least consumer-friendly iPhone today, or probably phone ever. Now, it goes without saying, but Apple is one of the biggest companies in the world and the leader in the phone race. I mean, they technically are the biggest company in the world if you look at the market cap at the minute.
Oh, yeah. Because that's the thing. I would always go for Amazon if I was to be asked, oh, what's the biggest company? But yeah, it is Apple. Think about... Well, he's just said the market cap, but you've also got how many territories they're in, how established the brand is, the dominance within the market. I mean, there's only really, like 3 other competitors really to Apple? Like maybe Samsung, Nokia, BlackBerry.
$100 billion, which equates to 3 individual Raid Shadow Legends sponsors. Now, this isn't the topic of today's video, but you probably know the iPhone 14 for its questionable advert. It used a music video from Idris Elba.
I haven't seen it, but I'll just take your word for it.
Idris Elba, by the way, he's a legendary actor. I first saw him in Luther on BBC. Definitely watch that if you haven't. It's like Sherlock Holmes, but modern day, and he does an amazing job in it.
Yeah, I would agree. If you do like that kind of Sherlock kind of stuff, that sort of investigation, magnifying glass in the hand, it is a very good show. I would recommend it as well.
But they used his music in the music video, and it's questionable to say the least. The lyrics were...
Are you sure about that? Are you sure that's a good choice? Maybe that wasn't a very good idea, Apple. I think we should cancel Apple. What else can I say into the mic? Big Chungus! This isn't very funny. I'll put it down.
Stealing jokes, but good jokes, but still stolen.
We're meant to emphasize the size of the new iPhone. That's not what the internet thought. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about how Apple have been
Still quite
making
funny.
changes to their phones that invite more profit on their side and more ways that you, the consumer, get completely screwed over.
That's just consumerism. I mean, if you look at Raid Shadow Legends, you said earlier, how many microtransactions do you have to get to like the first 5 levels? Well, I've never played the game, but you know what I mean. I don't know if it's a sad thing to say, but we live in a society, and in this society, maybe we've now just got used to having everything be a microtransaction. And I don't know if that's a sad thing, or if it's more just an inevitability. I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
This is the worst one yet. There's a video uploaded by Hugh Jeffries titled iPhone 14 Pro Programmed to Reject Repair. And the entire video basically breaks down that if you tinker with your iPhone in any kind of way to kind of customize it or to repair it on the cheap on your end, it will essentially lock up, making itself, for the most part, completely useless. So you instead have to take it to one of Apple's legendary Genius bars and fork over 5 times as much as what you should have.
But that's Monopoly for you, because they have the ability to set the price, they have the ability to make the product just like no one else has. Or actually, unlike everyone else has, I should say. They have the power to do that. Not to get political, but should they have the power to do that? Good question. I don't have the answer. I don't really know either way. But yeah, it's a good point to make, really.
See how repairable they are by swapping parts between the two phones. With the $50 price increase from last year, these phones cost me an eye-watering $3,500.
This is a thing that I've noticed, and this isn't just Apple.
Oh. But then again, I think the guy had 800,000 subscribers, and he's a tech channel, so he's probably making that back in like 2 minutes.
Phones universally, have you noticed that with each iteration and new model, the improvements get smaller, but the price gap increases? Obviously, I'm not talking about the more economic models where they purposely use like a more cheaper base, but it's like at this point, you're buying a phone to have like 3% more battery life. Oh my God, guys, I need to get the new Samsung Galaxy. You don't get it. It's got 61 FPS instead of 60.
Again, iPhone X. I may or may not get bullied for this phone, but it's so good. It does the job. Don't waste your money on something you don't need. Life advice with Gabby, you know it.
This is honestly why the most intelligent people don't keep buying the next iteration of the phone, because it's a useless upgrade. What most people do, and they're very smart, is waiting about 3 to 4 phone cycles before upgrading.
No, not you, Pyrocynical, but the people who are buying the phones. I'm too smart.
I know this is a bit off topic, but one of the best feelings you can get is waiting about like 5 years or so, and then buying yourself a new phone.
Oh, go away, Mr. Beast. I mean,
online shopping
Phone upgrade, and like having this waiting about like 5 in your hands, and you're like, oh my God, it's so big, the weight, it's so cool. And then you go back to the previous phone you used a week later, and you kind of hold it like a child in your arms. You just think, how was I using this? I remember doing that with...
I don't know if I've still got my phone, or my old one. Actually, no, I do have my old phone. It's, ta-da! Technically, I actually got a downgrade from this phone. This is a Pixel. Yeah, I had a bit of an accident with it. It was my fault. It was my fault. I was going to say it's not my fault. It was my fault. I dropped it, and I should have had a phone case. But yeah, it doesn't really work that well nowadays. So I had to get it upgraded for this one. But yeah, I completely understand what he means about nurturing it like a baby. You wouldn't think it, but this phone, which is a lot bigger, so much lighter than this one, and it definitely feels very different when you hold it. Yeah, I can fully understand where Pyro's coming from.
Now, what Hugh does in this video, he's bought 2 iPhone 14s. They are the exact same model. The only thing that's different is one of them's silver and one of them's purple.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary. That is, until you unlock the phone. I'm bombarded with notifications saying there's issues with my phone and that it's unable to determine if my parts are genuine.
Hell.
But how does it know? Well, Apple gives every part a unique serial number. These are matched to the phone when it's built. As soon as the software detects a change, this is what happens.
I understand the controversy. I understand where that could be an issue. But in 5 years, are we going to care? And I don't mean that in an insulting way, but whenever a change is made by a company, there will always be the blowback. But again, isn't that just an inevitability of a company progressing in their values. Because if they never stood still and they never had these mechanisms to make more money, would they still have the same level of power in the industry in 10, 20 years? I don't know. If you disagree, let me know. The brilliance of Apple since 1972.
The average phone scholar is probably wondering, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to rip open your phone and swap over the internals? Of course it's not going to work.
If I shoot you, you're in the clan. I'm sorry, you didn't make the clan.
Well, you'd be right there, young Padawan. Most people don't want to open the internals of their phone. I know I don't.
I agree.
Tech wizards experiment with their iPhones by applying new features or, for example, let's say one part of your phone is bust, like your camera, and you know how to fix it yourself. You'd go onto like eBay, buy that exact same model, you'd swap it over. It wouldn't work.
Another controversial opinion. eBay is overrated. I know. Shoot me now. I'm more of an Amazon kind of person. eBay, you don't get next day delivery. Half the things that are on the website are used. It doesn't really have great choice. I just think Amazon's better.
It's like someone in a hospital with blood type A, and then you give him a blood transfusion of blood type base. It's going to be too amazing and just kill him.
Sounds like something that Andrew Tate would sell. I don't know how he'd sell blood, but he'd probably do that. Sigma male DNA. Are you blood type B for beta? I'm blood type A for Sigma giga.
That's the worst one yet.
That was the best. Don't take that away from yourself.
The amount of features you lose if you start messing with your iPhone and swapping parts around, and it's hilarious.
And it all starts at the lock screen. Face ID, you can forget about it because it's been disabled. Battery health will leave you guessing. True tone, it's vanished. And auto brightness will leave you in the dark.
I like that wordplay. That's that GCSE grade 9 stuff. Very, very nice indeed. I'd personally give you the, £1,700 for that wordplay alone. Very techie.
Worst part is, the very, very worst part, when he swaps the parts over, he then takes them out and swaps them back. So he's now putting the internals back into the original iPhones. And they still don't work. It's rejecting the parts that it came with. It's the equivalent of your wife catching you and saying, I saw you with that man down the street. I saw you tickle his mustache and then watch all 3 seasons of Rick and Morty back to back. You're not welcome in this house.
I don't know how you'd recover from that. I'd have to do all the housework, make twice my hourly income, and maybe even pay for dinner. Even then, it probably still wouldn't win her back. Very sad indeed. Very strange time to pause it as well.
He could get like some of these features back is by purposely downgrading his iOS, which by the way is incredibly hard to do because Apple very quietly removed previous iOS iterations when they've come out with a new one. Jeff says in the video, word for word, I might have spent over $3,000 on these phones, but I feel like they're not even mine.
Oh, that's a great one. Jeff coming in with the bangers. Woo! Even I'm getting slightly aroused.
Please put that in a frame and take it to that temple in Skyrim where you learn how to shout with all the moth priests, because that perfectly encapsulates how phones work now. I feel like now with phones, they're not your property. You're borrowing it off someone. You buy it, you buy a product, and they can basically choose when to kill it, and then you're forced to buy a new upgrade or pay an extortionate amount to get it repaired. I didn't even go into how like it's been proven that iOS purposely downgrades lower phones like to make them run slower to force you into an upgrade. I was going to talk about it, but everyone knows that at this point. It's common knowledge.
That's why we just got to go back to smoke signals. You want to send a text to a baddie? I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but you get the idea. Just got a new message from LinkedIn. Carrier pigeon on my finger. I don't know where you put your carrier pigeon. Would that be an advancement into green new technology maybe as well? My IQ today is very much peaking.
And if anything, we've kind of just learned to accept it, which is really messed up. Honestly, at the end of the day, Android users, you lose. iPhone users, you lose. The only thing that they can both shake hands on,
carrier pigeon,
and agree that they are both better than is Google Pixel users. Google Pixel users. Google Pixel users.
Google Pixel users.
Google Pixel users.
My old one. Actually, no, I do have my old one.
Google Pixel users. Google Pixel users. Google Pixel users.
Technically, I actually got a downgrade from this phone. This is a Pixel. Yeah, I had a bit of an accident with it. It was my fault.